What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, and we've gotten some salary cap related updates over the last couple days, and I wanted to go ahead and run them down and sum them up and see where we stand with the new information that we got. This video is going to be a combination of some old information that has been confirmed and some information that we've gained in the last couple days, and in one case, a bit of information that we gained literally earlier today, and the rest should fill in soon. But I want to take stock of where we stand with the information that we have. So I'm on Spotrac, like I often am these days, looking at the salary cap table for the Seahawks. And let's just go down and see what's new here. You can see that quite a few things are new because our estimated salary cap space has gone down a little bit. If you look at everybody, it's about 15.2. If you look at the top 51, it's 17.6. So both numbers, there isn't a big difference between the two numbers, obviously, but as we sign more players, that'll change. But this gives you a rough idea of where we sit. So let's take a look at what they have. The first thing that I want to draw attention to real quick here is Tyler Lockett. Even though we've known Lockett's contract for a few days now, it's been confirmed, so I do want to go over this again to illustrate something with Lockett. His cap hit for 2024 has gone down to 18.6 approximately. And if we go to his contract page, you can see that next year his cap hit has gone to about 31 or 30.9, but there's only a $4 million dead cap hit. That was rumored at the time of his restructure, but now it's come from multiple sources and it seems to be confirmed. So what has happened here is that Tyler Lockett has reduced his cap hit for 2024. He's reduced his dead cap hit in 2025 by a lot, by the way, in both counts, and has gotten basically nothing back. So I want to really illustrate here what Lockett is giving up in order to stick around here. And I want to say thank you to Tyler Lockett, because some players are willing to do this kind of stuff, but not all players are. We know. We've seen some players do it over the years, but for the most part, players, when they get their money, they don't want to give it up. And it's not hard to see why, right? You look around this league, you look around any sport, the injuries these players suffer that just derail their careers, they're not looking to give any money back. But Lockett has, I don't know any other way to put this other than he's given a lot of money back. The cap hit has gone down by like 9 million almost for 2024, and he's going to get almost nothing in dead cap in 2025. So this is not just a restructure. This is a significant pay cut, and it's very clear what's going to happen from here on out. Short of Lockett going out there and playing like Jerry Rice in 2024, we're going to release him next offseason. Like, it's a $4 million dead cap hit, and it's a $31 million cap hit if he's on the team. It's a no-brainer. So understand that unless Lockett does something crazy this year, like has a 2,000-yard season or something completely outside the realm of realistic possibility, he's gone this offseason, and he's set it up so we can do it relatively painlessly. So shout out to him. Shout out to him, man. All right. So going past Tyler Lockett, next guy I want to talk about for a second here is Noah Fant, because we've gotten contract details there. His cap hit for 2024 is $7.5 million. Now, $7.5 million is slightly more than I was thinking. I said $7 million, but it's basically the same. So it's in line with expectations, $7.5 million, and then the 2025 cap hit is $13.5 million. Now, one thing that I've always talked about with these 2-year deals is, depending on how they're structured, they can be looked at as like a 1-year deal with a void year cap hit in the second year. So if that ends up being the case here, like let's say we get to next offseason and we're like, we don't want to give Fant $13.5 million, we want to cut him and take the dead cap hit instead. You can see the dead cap hit is $4.5 million, which is a little more than I was hoping it would be, but it kind of lines up with the contract that he got. So if you look at it as a 1-year deal, then it's a 1-year deal for $12 million with a void year cap hit to spread it out to 2025. That's still, I don't think that's going to make anyone feel better about it if you're not a big Noah Fant fan, because 1 year, $12 million spread out over 2 years is still uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. So, either way, it's a daunting contract. It's a little bit of a daunting contract, But either way, we just need Noah Fant to play really well. We need him to be a important part of what we do in 2024 in order to feel good about this. There's no easy 1 year out. It is a doable 1 year out, but it's not an easy 1 year out. All right, next guy I want to take a look at here would be Rayshawn Jenkins, because we've gotten his contract details now. It is 2 years, 12 million, like we were told, but the cap hit goes 4.1 million in 2024, which I said 4 million, so off by 100,000, which is nothing. Although you do see how these little numbers do start to add up here. These little amounts do start to add up. So we're slowly bleeding away the little bit of cap space I thought we had, which kind of makes me really feel like some other move is going to come here. And before anybody says it, no, I'm not talking about trading DK Metcalf, which doesn't really free up cap space right now. I'm talking about something that actually does free up cap. But it goes 4.1, 7.9, and the dead year cap hit is 2.5. So you can also choose to look at this contract as a 1 year, $6.6 million deal with a void year hit to spread the cap hit out to 2025, if we decide to let him go after 1 year. Again, that's not fantastic. That's not anything that anybody's going to look at and go, oh, that's so much better, but it is an alternative way to look at this deal. If he doesn't play very well this year, then that is an option. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's less likely than it is with Fant, but it is something that I think should be put on the table here. All right, so that's Rayshawn. Pharaoh Brown got added to the Spotrac list, but we already knew his contract was 1 year, 3.2 million, so that's not new. You've got Nick Harris, who was 1 year, 2.51, which we also knew. Spotrac finally threw him on there. And that's really about it in terms of the new stuff on Spotrac. So if we scroll down to the bottom here and see what they're still missing, you've got Jerome Baker, Artie Burns, Tyrel Dodson, and George Fant. Well, I have good news. Well, at least good news in the sense that we now have additional information. I used Spotrac's manage roster function to add a couple guys here because we know what the Jerome Baker cap hit is going to be. And we also now know recently Tyrel Dodson. Jerome Baker, we know he got a 1 year, $7 million deal, so I put him here. And we also know now that Tyrel Dodson got 1 year, 4.2 million, which pretty good contract, by the way. 1 year, 4.2. I think that's solid. I think that's good. I like it. I wish it had been 3 years for 4.2 million per year. So it could have been something like 3 years, 13 million. That would have been even better for, I think, but it's a nice deal. So now we know how much Dodson costs. And with those two guys added to the cap, Baker and Dodson, you can see our cap space is now just under $4 million. So after you account for the two starting linebackers, we are down to about $4 million. Now, the last two guys that aren't accounted for yet are Artie Burns and George Fant. Artie Burns is probably going to be vet min like 1.1 or 1.2 million, something like that. George Fant, we know it's 2 years, 14 million maximum, but we don't know what the base is. We don't know what the incentives are. We don't know how much the incentives are. So it's really hard to guess on that one, but I've speculated that it could be something like 5 million. So you put those two things together, Artie Burns plus George Fant, let's say those two guys together equals 6 million. We're over the cap. And that's not counting the 8.4 million you need to spend on draft picks, and it's not spending the 6 million you need to spend on your practice squad and your injury buffer. So you guys can kind of see what I'm getting at here. There's not really money left. There's obviously things that you can do. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the guys that are currently listed here are not going to make the final team. Guys like Andrew Whitaker, Jonathan Sutherland, maybe Brian Koback, maybe Matthew Gotel, Latrell Bumpus, Lance Boykin, Levi Bell, Aesop Winston, Cody White, Drake Thomas. A lot of these guys are going to go, and their salaries are going to go with them. And that might get you to basically, that might get you to the point where you have enough for your draft class. But I still feel like there's another axe that needs to swing here somewhere just to create enough cap space to have the remainder of the offseason, even if you don't sign anybody else. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the options here. Let's go over to here. And I guess you can just trim out a guy like John Radigan. You can probably trim out a guy like a Daryl Taylor, and that might do it, but I think you guys can kind of tell from the math done in this video alone, just the rough back of the envelope math in this video. It's getting tight. It's getting very tight. And it wouldn't surprise me if they end up restructuring Geno or restructuring Metcalf or finding some other player that they could maybe move off of to clear cap space. Like, I don't think it'll be Julian Love at this point, but financially that's possible. I don't think it'll be Jaron Reed, but financially it at least works fundamentally. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here exactly, but it seems to me that we've kind of spent more than we are going to be able to without changing course down the line here. So I'll keep playing with Spotrac and try to figure out exactly where we sit, but hopefully in the next few days the team takes the guesswork out of the equation by actually telling us what these contracts are. All right, I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Just wanted to update you guys on salary cap stuff, and I'll see you guys soon.